What's going on, everybody? This is Lady Luck here again. Okay, so is this whole thing becoming normal? And I just missed when it happened to be a normal thing now. When it comes to women coming up missing or being reported as missing and or abducted, and they just come back out of nowhere with no explanation. This is, and I ask you guys to keep an open mind about this as I, show you the reason behind I'm saying this. I have two videos that I'm going to show about two distinct different cases where a young black woman, or a black woman in general, was reported missing and or abducted, and then they're just found with no explanation. I am not saying that we should not be concerned when someone comes up missing. I'm not saying that at all. But I will say that the explanation behind what happened while they were allegedly missing and then how they just basically returned home, it comes off as very fishy in my personal opinion. I'm not trying to downplay, the safety precautions, especially in one of these cases where, as you see here, this young lady is from Georgia. Her name is Brittany Wiley. And her mother filed a missing persons case when she told her mom that she was going to the grocery store, which is weird, by the way, because unless her mother was expecting her to maybe come to her house, I don't understand why anyone would just call their parent and say, and this is a grown adult with a child of her own, just to tell her mother she's going to the grocery store. That's not even normal. Most people on average don't do that unless, like I said, unless her mother was expecting her and she didn't show up. But to have to give your parent a notice that you've arrived at a grocery store, to me, it's just, why would she do that? Now, I have to agree that anytime you have a child missing, that you should not be forced to wait. It should be immediately taken seriously, because this minor child can't drive. They can't make decisions on, pulling stunts or any of that. So they're at the mercy of their parents if the child is missing with the parent. But in this particular situation, she was gone for about a week, and then just out of nowhere called the police, said, "Hey, I'm fine, I'm good, we're all good." And then her mother comes back, after a whole week of searching and reporting. If people complain about not having fair media coverage, you can't be mad when you get the coverage you want. The person comes up out of nowhere, and then your response is, "I don't have anything else further to report. Please respect our privacy." And people are like, no. Because this has been a week of people worried and upset at what happened out of nowhere. And then she calls the cops, and all of a sudden she's fine. So what happened in that week she was gone? With a minor child, by the way. Now, let me remind you guys, the reason why I say this as well is because this is just one of the two situations that I'm going to show in my video. But if you recall, the case with Sherry Papini. Now, granted, she's white, she's not black, but she's still a woman who was alleged to be missing and then just showed up out of nowhere. And when the investigation was initiated, because it became, viral, it captured the attention of the whole country. So of course, when it's suspicious how she just came back out of nowhere, no explanation, and then what she did try to explain away was so narcissistic. They had to charge her. And this is someone who was also a wife and a mother of 2 children. It's already embarrassing enough, for the family members, especially in the case with Sherry Papini. And her husband is on national TV begging for whomever abducted her to just drop off at the hospital. I'll take that, but just get her somewhere safe. And then come to find out it was one big hoax. And it's just really more of a crushing blow to the husband and the kids, because she just, all the signs were pointing towards this woman is truly unfit. Period. She should not be allowed to be around the kids until she's really proven she's gotten some treatment of some sort. I understand, and I don't blame the husband for wanting to divorce her, but this is ridiculous. And then let's not forget the hoax of Jussie Smollett with his staged hate crime. You got to understand that the public has been burnt out on more than one occasion. 1, 2, 3, 4 times too many that I know I can recall right now. And it causes people to become less and less empathetic. It's like the boy that cried wolf. After so many of these, 2 of them being proven to be hoaxes, and then these 2 cases I'm talking about with these mothers here, these young ladies here, it makes people care less and less and less when there's no explanation. Let me put it that way. Like I said, we should always take any missing persons case seriously, because while you have some bad actors, crying wolf, there are still true victims that are missing, that were abducted. And I'm not even talking about within this past month or 2. I'm talking about, over a period of 5 to 10 years that did not get the coverage they deserved. And some of them may have been saved if they would have been found in time. So it kind of diminishes those who are actually missing or reported missing. And they've been missing for years, even children missing for years. And their cases didn't get half of the attention that, Sherry Papini and Jussie Smollett, this young lady, Brittany Wiley, and the other case that I'm going to mention with Marley Thompson, I think. I'm going to pull up the video. But it gets to a point where we're just kind of exhausted of being led on, showing empathy and concern, only to have these people come up safe, which, thank God. But then they don't explain what happened for them to just turn up out of nowhere. So I want to show this video. This is from, let me see. Because I know there was a rescue recovery, Adam Brown Adventures. This is the name of the channel that are like, divers that help to recover missing people, especially involving anything where they could possibly be in some water. So they're experts at it. They have a whole channel, and they went searching for this young lady and her son. And like I said, it should always be taken serious when there's a minor child involved, because they're at the mercy of their parents. They can't help who their parents are. They can't help the situation going on between their parents, and especially if one of them decides to just go blank for a whole week with this child and then show up out of nowhere, call the cops and say, hey, I'm fine, it's no big deal. And then it's like the kid is innocent in all of this. So that's why you have to continue to take any signs of abduction or missing persons involving a minor very, very seriously. But when you have what seems to be very, very fishy to occur, I think there's some level of obligation to at least investigate and report what happened. Because, like I said with Sherry Papini, thank goodness they did investigate that, because it turned out to be the worst, dumbest hoax in history. And it's appalling because you feel the empathy, especially as a mother, because there are two children missing their mother in that case. And in this situation, the child is with the mother, which is cause for even greater concern. But what did you do for a whole week? And how did you not know you were being reported missing? I mean, where the hell did they go? Because if they were, let's say they were taken for a week and then they were able to escape, I firmly believe that that would have been reported. Because of the fact that no one wants to appear as if they're pulling some stunt for whatever reason. Attention, anything, even mental health related. I mean, she could have snapped. But I don't see, unless you don't really care, I don't see how she would willfully just go missing out of nowhere with her child and then think that she should not state what happened when she just called cops, said, "I'm here," and that's it. It's disingenuous to the media, to, the average person that would be sympathetic to this. It's just disingenuous when you try to brush it off like nothing ever happened and then demand privacy when people who were extremely concerned, and groups like the Adam Adventures channel put in real time and man hours trying to find them. And then it's just like, oh, she called the cops, she's here, we're good. Thanks for nothing. Are you kidding? No. All right, let's watch this video.
Now there is a search for a missing mom and her child. Tomorrow marks 1 week since Brittany Wiley and her 12-year-old son Rodney left home to shop at a couple of stores nearby, and they just vanished here, folks. So now police are posting notices asking you to help find them.
This was supposed daughter is never without her phone. She'd left home with only her phone and her purse, nothing else. After a few hours, Jones, in a panic, filed a missing persons report, and Covington police are now asking for the public's help finding Wiley and her son.
Daughter and my grandson are okay, and that maybe emotionally it got to be too much, too heavy, and she just needed to go. Just needed to take off for a little bit.
Still at work, so I'm gonna make this pretty quick here.
She had a nice job with that big pool in the background.
We just want to thank God, and then I want to thank each and every one of you. I've got family and friends out here to just give you a call back, to just tell you thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for all of your thoughts and prayers. I wish I could call each of you in to let you know that Brittany and Rodney both have been found safe. They are safe. I have no additional information at this time. Currently, right now, the only thing that we know is that she contacted the police department on her own to let them know that her and her son are safe. And that is all that matters, okay?
So that's the mother of the young lady that somehow vanished for a whole week with a minor child, a 10-year-old, and decided to call the cops and say, "Never mind, I'm here. Psych." And then this is the response from her mother that filed the missing persons case. First of all, any true concerning parent would be upset if their child just called the cops after having many people worried, the media reporting on this. You have dive teams searching for her and her son. And I want to say primarily because of the fact that there was a minor involved. But you basically say she called the cops, she's home, she's safe. I have nothing that's sad, the end. And then think that's okay. No, it's not. No, it's not. The human beings in general don't normally just do things like that without there being some definite root cause of it. But the problem is you had a 10-year-old child with you. You never leave the house without your phone. At some point, I would like to think she had access to the internet and could see that she was trending after being reported missing. So here's my question. Did she even communicate with her mother the whole week she was gone? Because the mother never said any of that. Remember, she filed the missing persons request after a few hours on the day that she was last known at the store. So she didn't even let a full day pass by, which it should not be the case because, like I said, because of the child. And even so, with just another human being, it should be taken more seriously because history has taught us what happens when you don't take an abduction or missing persons case seriously and investigate right then and there. Every second counts. But the irritating part of this is that, okay, well, she called the cops, she's home, and then that's a report. Please respect our privacy. Thank you all. Are you kidding? So what happened that whole week she was missing? Did she even reach out to her mother? Because phone records could prove that. And how do you really plan on trying to make things right if it was a hoax with the dive team, the media, the family, the friends, everybody that aided in making this, more widely known? And all of a sudden, you want people to just let it go and just respect your privacy. Now, am I happy that they were, are found okay and safe? Yes. But at this point, is it fair to expect the public, after worrying like hell over the possibility of a mother and a 10-year-old child being missing? I don't understand this. You not expect us to worry and then not demand answers when it's just so mysterious as to how she came back home. She wasn't even found. If she took the initiative to call 911 and say, hey, I think I'm being reported as missing here. I'm good. How did she not know that? How did she not see she was trending in the news? And why the hell would she wait a whole week to call the cops? Was she somewhere where she didn't have access to the internet and her phone died? Because I think if that were the case, that would have definitely been mentioned because you want to provide information that truly does kind of point to this being a actual abduction or missing person. But when you don't say anything after that, and then the justification of how they come home or how she basically just said, I'm here on her own volition. It's like, what? So what the hell did you do for a week? Come on now. This is how, and I'm not ever saying that anyone should, lose their sense of humanity and empathy and sympathy. But please keep in mind, like I said, there are real victims out there. And being the boy that cried wolf, after the public has seen more than just one or two cases where you have people pulling these hoax, and then they get charged, they get investigated. But when it happens on a local level and is not involved with some celebrity, because Sherry Papini was not a celebrity or anything, Jussie Smollett was. Even though he didn't stage a kidnapping, he still staged a hate crime. It's not just the fact that you faked some nonsense. It's the fact that you had people worried, the media reporting this, time, energy, effort, resources, and finances put into trying to figure out what happened And then it turns out to be just a dumb joke of some sort. And for what? Is it truly worth the investigation that you could still have opened against you for going missing for a week, being returned safe, calling the police yourself, and coming home, and then expect no one to ask what the hell happened? This is ridiculous. We're burnt out with this. So I believe, in my opinion, we do deserve the right to know, because you had us worried. So this is one of the two cases. Let me show the other one.
Carlee Russell returned home last night, days after she vanished from the side of I-459 in Hoover. So what else do we know about her return?
To call that Carlee had returned home to her. However, those details surrounding her disappearance still remaining unclear. This investigating when she was reported missing Thursday night and continuing through the weekend, but ending around 10:45 last night when police got that call that Carlee was home. Hoover PD responding to the scene to investigate. Fire medics also providing or arriving to assess Carlee and transport her to the hospital. Morning, her return to home, ending a 48-hour search, grabbing national attention. Again, those circumstances.
So, as you guys can see, this is another case of a young black woman that was missing, or reported as being abducted, because she was on the phone and whomever she was talking to heard her scream, and then that was pretty much it. And then 2 days later, based on the reports, she just walked home. And mind you, she initially stated that she was calling 911 because she thought she saw a toddler and was driving a car. So where's the car? What happened with the car in the last 2 days? Did it get towed? What happened with that? I don't think that's public information. Now, her medical treatment and anything revolving her medical records, that's HIPAA protected. So, unless you commit a crime where you played a hoax, and then there's a certain amount of information that, the courts would be within their legal rights to obtain to try to show that this woman was never abducted. I'm not saying she wasn't. I'm just showing another case where the return home is so mysterious and unexplained. And it's like you can't, this is the second case I'm showing here. You cannot expect the public to just turn away and not wonder what happened in those 2 days. What happened to the car? What happened to her belongings? She just walked home out of nowhere. Well, I don't understand, what, and I think I'm, most people will be willing to wait till she's discharged, she's medically cleared, she's, fine, mentally and emotionally and physically, before they really start demanding answers. So I'm not saying that she should just be investigated right now, but I will say that an investigation needs to happen. Because like I said, the Sherry Papini case garnered national attention, and that ended up being a dumb hoax. And she had 2 kids and a husband that were concerned all of that time. And then you have the incident with Justin Smollett, the staged hate crime. Of course, he was, an entertainer, he's an actor or whatever. Of course, that's going to garner some attention. But if you see the pattern with these hoaxes, emerging, it's understandable for people to have this feeling of burnout. People are worried and helping however they can, even if it's just, in this situation, I think any donations was sent towards the agency that handles missing persons, Crime Stoppers. That's what it was. It was Crime Stoppers. So if they truly made sure that the money went to Crime Stoppers, then at least, there's no question about any financial motive. But it does bring up questions about, if she was walking home, did she forget about her car and her belongings? And why didn't she walk to a hospital or a fire station or a police station? I get that you want to be with your family, but you still have to maintain some level of logic in this. Why would you not walk to a ER somewhere and get help, and then let them call your family and say, listen, she just showed up here at the hospital. She was afraid to go home. Maybe the person that, allegedly abducted her, was going to try to follow her or track her down. So even in that situation, you think you might be putting your family at risk. You would still, if you can, go to a hospital or a police station or even a fire station and then get help from there. But she just walked home out of nowhere and then called 911. And I get it. You might not want to call a neighbor's house because that has gone horribly wrong in way too many situations where people have gone to someone's house trying to get help, or even just merely showed up there by accident and then they got shot at. So I get it if you don't want to stop by someone's house to ask for help, but I don't understand why you didn't walk to a hospital or the police station. That's what I don't understand. I don't understand what happened with the car, and no one said anything about that. So both of these situations, to me, it's just because they're so mysterious, and the return home is so mysterious and unexplainable right now. I know that we don't have all the details, but I don't think the response, especially from Brittany Wiley's mother, I don't think the response should be, well, that's all I know. That's all I have to report. The only thing that matters, she's safe. Okay, but you got expand on it. If it's truly because she was in fear of something, that is understandable. But if she put it out that her daughter was going through a divorce, I can understand if you blame this sudden disappearance on that, and maybe she feared for her life with the spouse. But wouldn't you not want to just say that and maybe have the police look into the husband? Wouldn't you not want that to happen? If there's a true fear of your safety and your welfare and your well-being for you and your child against your husband that you're in the midst of divorcing, and maybe you fear he's going to do something to your child, that's more of a reason for you to try to get the police involved and get investigators to look into the husband. But to just say that, I don't know anything else, she's good, whatever. It's not enough. At this point, it's just not enough. Now, I, for one, do not want to lose my sense of humanity, nor do I want anyone else to do that. Because it can be aggravating to have what looks like two situations to occur in to almost 2 months, to look so suspicious that it's like, you're going to have to say something more than that. So it's not about what happened with the situation, because it should always be taken seriously when someone's reported missing, because there are true missing cases out there, even with children, that did not garner the attention that these two cases have, or even the case with Sherry Papini. So when you get the attention that you want because you feel that your loved one is missing or abducted somehow, and you're concerned, don't sit here and expect the media and the public to just look away when they come home. And it's like in both of those scenarios, they called the police. Why not go to a police station and file a report saying, hey, I'm afraid for me and my child's life because my soon-to-be ex-husband is out of his mind. Then why not try to get some sort of protection? from the beginning. Why be missing for a week, having people worried, and then all of a sudden call the police out of nowhere? It would be more difficult to understand when you do not say something to ease people's minds, and it needs to be logical. It just needs to make sense. So like I said, these are just two cases where I just, personally feel like it does more harm than good when you have this whole nonchalant attitude to just, she's fine, that's all that matters, the end. And then that's it. It's harder to believe that it was a true or serious kidnapping, abduction, or missing persons type of case. Especially when you have a boatload of missing persons that have gone cold because it's been so long since they went missing. So, I think that these, both of these cases should be investigated, because of the fact that this is becoming almost trend-like. And it's just happening way too often, where the end result is, albeit a happy one, but it's also this whole, we don't owe you any explanation type of attitude. And it's all about how you handle that makes the biggest difference. So I expect there to be a continuation of taking every missing persons case serious, because you never know what's happened and what they may be going through. But I also expect investigations to occur when the reappearance is just so out of left field and it just doesn't make sense. And I think people are becoming more and more and more aware of this because, like I said, after that whole nonsense with Sherry Papini, let me tell y'all something. Half the country at some point is going to get to a point where they just not even going to care. And you never want that to happen. In the event that it's a true situation where you're not crying wolf, you don't want that to be overlooked because of all of these proven hoaxes, like with Sherry Papini, or two very similar cases where it just seems like something's not right. And that's kind of my 2 cents on this. So either way, I'm glad they're home. I'm more ecstatic at the fact that the 10-year-old, because like I say, he's a child. He can't help who his parents are, is safe and doing well. If it was a matter of, I fear my life, or she's under witness protection or something to that extent, I would at least say something along the lines of, there's a nasty divorce going on. Sad to say that she felt that she needed to do this just to protect herself and her son. That's more understandable than just, well, she's back. She called 911. She's home. She's safe. That's it. That's all I got to report. We want privacy. Go away. Nope. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So, like I said, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but there needs to be thorough investigations done because it takes time and money. The media is reporting this. These cases are picking up national attention, and for them to turn out to be, something mysterious and nonsensical and illogical is almost just an insult to injury, so to speak. And that's kind of my view on it. I think a lot of people are starting to kind of feel the same way. But like I said, please make sure, if someone is missing, especially with a child involved, that you still take it seriously, and then let those who are doing something that is dubious or malicious in any way, let the consequences fall where it may. Let those investigations lead to whatever conclusion it points towards with the evidence. And if they did something that could be seen or viewed as a hoax, then they should receive the proper, consequences for it. But it's certainly not fair to expect people to just ignore it because the first young lady called the cops, or this young lady was just walking home and then called the police, as opposed to going to a hospital or a police station. I have to believe that there's either one close to the vicinity of her home, unless they live way out somewhere in the woods. But like I said, that's my 2 cents on this. Yeah, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section, because I know you will anyway. I'm not trying to be, desensitized to the nature and the urgency of someone going missing. I'm a mother myself and a black woman. So this is coming from someone that's also a black woman with 2 children. And this is still fishy to me. And it's just kind of outside of the realm of logic that no one wants to explain, with something logical as to what happened while they were missing. So hopefully both of these cases end up being, it renders some explanation. But either way, I'm done venting.